Hello and welcome to the Sideline Live podcast. My name is Orla Keeling and I am the host of the podcast, where every week we bring you a brand new episode with guests ranging from Olympic champions to local heroes, coaches, support staff and anybody involved in the world of sport. Each week we will dive into different topics, including current affairs in sport, identity, skill, mindset, coaching, and also shine a light on those flying under the radar. So tune in for brand new episodes, new stories, and new insights you've never heard before. This episode is proudly sponsored by Sport Expo Ireland. Taking place at the Sport Ireland campus on April 21st and 22nd, 2027, attendees will hear from leading voices in sport, take part in interactive workshops and masterclasses. To learn more and register your interest, visit sportexpo.ie, which is linked in the description of the episode. Now, let's hear from today's guest. Okay, I think we're ready. Aoife Wafer, thank you for joining me. We've actually matched t-shirts and everything. That was not planned.
Yeah, look at that. Not too bad at all. But yeah, thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to get stuck into things.
Yeah, you've had a busy couple of weeks / months / years. Talk us through how the last while has been.
Yeah, busy few years kind of since I got my first calf, got injured, got back into an Irish setup. And then even last few months it's kind of been like rehab, World Cup, back to Quins for my first season there, and then back to a Six Nations, and yeah, trying to back up a little bit of what I did last year. So yeah, thankfully I was able to do that. But yeah, very busy to be fair.
There was a great photo shared there, obviously when all the games or the game was going on in the Aviva and all the hype around it. 2014, am I right? You and the Aviva and Gorey Rugby Club commented 10 years time you'll be out on that pitch.
Yeah, a
Did
bit mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's funny how life works sometimes.
Yeah, that's it. Like I think as a kid, like I've always just been obsessed with sports and especially rugby. And yeah, like I think everybody in Gorey, like whether it was the lads that were on my team or the coaches or my parents or whoever was in the club, like they all knew that I wanted to play for Ireland. And they all knew that was the dream. So I guess yeah, like they commented that, and Mam was kind of just like, oh, we'll bring her to every rugby game we can. So whether it was Ashburn or Donnybrook, now named Energia Park, or whether it was the Aviva for that one game, like they were like, oh, we'll bring this girl, because I suppose when I first started out, I always wanted to play for Ireland, but I didn't necessarily know there was a women's team. Like I was 6 years old, and there was only lads playing in the club. Like I was the only girl playing with the lads team in the whole section of minis. And to me, that was just like, all right, this is just how it is. I'll just go and play for the men's rugby team, and that's just what I thought. And my parents were like, oh God, you're right, we're going to show her. So they brought me to every women's game they could find, and yeah, I'm very grateful they did, because when I was growing up, Ireland women's team were so successful. They were Grand Slam winners. They were Six Nations winners, and they were coached by the brilliant Philip Goose Doyle, who sadly has now passed away, and he even believed in me from day one, I guess. And yeah, like all those coaches, like you ask any of them, and they tell you, yeah, she's going to play for Ireland. So I'm glad I could hold up my end of the deal then too. And yeah, it was just a childhood dream getting to play it out in the Aviva then this year.
Yeah, I think that generation of the women's team that were so successful, unfortunately, I think as a public, we never really fully took stock of what they achieved. And kind of looking back now, we've only maybe started to kind of recognize it with the growth and the popularity of the game, maybe.
Yeah, 100%. Like that group were incredible. Like, and everything that they kind of had to go through to be even able to play matches like is ridiculous. And I suppose me growing up as a kid, like it was just so inspirational, and watching them after every game, and like some of the players used to joke and that kind of thing. So I'd be at every game and every kind of open train session I could get to. And for my 10th birthday, Goose had got a signed shirt from the team, and they just won the Grand Slam in 2013, and like it's hung above my bed ever since. But even from a point of view of like that jersey has a circular crest with the RFU logo on it, which was the symbol of like that's a women's jersey, whereas in the past couple of years it's gone where we just have the one jersey, which obviously bar sponsors is something that was a huge step at the time. But yeah, like that group were they were just legends, absolute stalwarts of not just Irish women's rugby, but Irish rugby. Like they were first Irish team to beat New Zealand, and they'd done it in a World Cup. First Irish team to get to a semi final in a World Cup. And it's funny, I was on a panel a few it's probably a year, maybe 2 years ago now, and was chatting to Brian O'Driscoll, and he was like, "God, what does it feel like to beat New Zealand?" And I was like, "God, yeah, like there's some of the like legends of the lads game, and they don't even know that feeling."
Wow.
And yeah, the women were just doing it on the regular back in the day. So yeah, I was very lucky to kind of grow up in that era where like Irish women's rugby was incredibly successful, and I guess that kind of then spurred me on to be like, God, yeah, like I want to do that, like I want to be part of a successful Irish team, and I guess that's kind of stood with me ever since I was young.
Yeah. If I went back in time somehow and met 10-year-old Aoife with the jersey in her hand and told her you go on to achieve what you've achieved now, would she believe me, or would she say, "Yeah, I definitely will"?
I think she would. Yeah, I like. I think 6-year-old Aoife would probably believe it. Like, I think me as a kid, like I was just so ambitious. Like I was just like, right, what is there that I could achieve, and I'm going to chase it with everything I've got, and like I still do it to the day. Like I think there's a lot of goals that like kid Aoife had set out, and I still haven't achieved it. So yeah, like I think there's so much more that I could probably do, and so much more I think that 10-year-old Aoife would be expecting me to do. Um, so yeah, I think she probably wouldn't be too surprised. She probably would be like, "Oh, you haven't got everything else done yet." But yeah, no, like I think like yeah, my kind of rugby career has been an absolute whirlwind between injuries and everything I've achieved. Like the Guinness Six Nations Player Championship is literally sat behind the laptop here, and yeah, like I think 10-year-old Aoife would love to get her hands on one of them, and to be the only Irish person in like women's history now is to like have one of them is pretty special, and to have two of them is even more kind of yeah unbelievable really.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know what you say because I was going to say you've two of them, not one.
Yeah, yeah, literally. Yeah, the girls here in England were joking because I haven't got home yet, so it's still in England, and they were joking because they're like, "Where's the first one?" Because you get to keep the trophies. They're,
Right.
gosh, they're I don't even know how tall you'd put it, and they're about 12 kilos, and
Oh,
um
Jesus.
they were like, "Where's the first one?" And I was like, "Oh, it's on the mantelpiece back in my home house," and they were like, "So where are you going to put the second one?" And I was like, "Probably on the mantelpiece back in my home house," and they're like, "God, you're going to need to reinforce that mantelpiece." So yeah, like I think it'll be beside a rake of kind of I don't know pictures of my siblings playing sports or my mom playing rugby and that kind of thing. So yeah, it'll be back on the mantelpiece in Ireland. So yeah, it'll go home this weekend, I guess.
Do you ever see the photo of the mantelpiece that's broken and on the floor? That'll be your mantelpiece now when you get home.
Yeah, yeah,
24 kilos of awards on it.
yeah, probably. I'll have to just go on the ground beside it or something.
I'm interested. The phrase "can't see, can't be." I bring it up a lot, and it's obviously well known. What was the first moment that you felt that you could play? Or was that ambition always maybe there for you anyway?
I think it was always kind of there for me, anyways, because like my parents were they were just incredible. Like I have four siblings, and no matter what we wanted to do, we were able to do it. So whether it was rugby, GA, surf life saving, swimming, athletics, any type of music you wanted to do, like they'd facilitate it, and they did that for all five kids. So I don't know where they found the hours to kind of cart us over like over the whole of Ireland to do whatever we wanted, as well as kind of have their own life. But they did, and I think that kind of just pushed us to be like, oh yeah, like we can do what we want, and like we can choose whatever sport like we really love, or like we can like I grew up playing for Wexford as well, and I had an idea that I was gonna be like a senior county player for Wexford for hurling football, and I was also going to play for Ireland in rugby. But obviously, eventually, when time comes to it, you don't have enough hours in the day. But yeah, like I think for me, because of my parents and them kind of showing me the way, that I was just really lucky that I always knew that there was a path there, because they made it really visible for me growing up, whether that was bringing me to games or kind of mom starting rugby when she was, gosh, I'd say somewhere in her 40s, and she was on the first ever women's team in the club back home, and like even just that, and like her show me that, like, yeah, you can do what you love, and you can really enjoy it, and you can still do everything else alongside it as well. It's like, yeah, it's just stood with me. But yeah, like I guess pathway wise, yeah, I think I've always just wanted to play for Ireland. I've always wanted to play at the highest level of whatever sport it was, and yeah, I was just determined to get there, no matter what way it was. So I think for me, yeah, like the phrase "can't see, can't be" is extremely important. But I think my parents kind of made that sort of a reality for me, that I can do whatever I want and follow whatever path I want to follow.
Yeah, you can do the opposite of Lindsay Peat. You can do the rugby first and do the intercounty football at 35 when she flipped it the other way. And you can pick up basketball as well. And
Follow Hannah Tyrrell's path.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, in terms of the lessons you've learned from your childhood, like obviously you really strong family and what they've done for you there, is the ambition part the biggest kind of piece that sticks with you from your childhood? That kind of planning and the goal setting of 10-year-old Aoife saying, "Where's the rest of things? You know, why haven't you done it yet?" Or is there a different kind of lesson or something that stands out now still?
Yeah, it's a funny one, because I think as Irish people, we like, as you nearly get older, you become less, not less ambitious, but like you don't want to talk about it as much, because it's nearly like, oh, like don't be saying that, you're going to jinx yourself and you're never going to do it. But I think, like, yeah, for me, like I've always said I wanted to be the best in the world, and like that's something that you probably can't necessarily achieve, because everybody has different opinions. Like you ask someone who's the best men's player in the world, and they could give you about five different names, and they're all equally as good, but it's to that person who's the best in the world. And I guess, like, for me, it's just being the best version of me I can, whether that's as a player or as a person, and being the best teammate I can be. And like, yeah, that ambition has stood with me, and like that kind of childhood dream of achieving like so many different things has stood with me. But I think even that just level of curiosity has probably stood with me. Like as a kid, I asked so many questions, probably too many. And like that stood with me, and I still do it now, whether it's, I don't know, different technique around certain aspects of the game. Like I'll explore it, and I'll try see if it works for me, and if it doesn't, that's fine. But I've tried it, and it might add a couple of percents to my game. And if not, sure, at least I've tried it, and I can't say I haven't put everything into it. But yeah, like I think that curious kind of element is really important for me. And it was the same when I was going through the pathway or underage kind of teams and that kind of thing. Like I remember I wasn't picked for one of the tournaments for the Irish under 18 sevens when I was about 15 or 16. And obviously I was quite young on the team, but like I was really disappointed in myself that I didn't get picked. So it was that thing of like, right, like I know how to deal with this because I've had it before. And so I went to the coach and I was like, what is it that I need to do to get better? Because for me, it's what can I control to be able to put my hand up for selection to be on the team, that like if there was another opportunity to present. Like, and the other question, it was like, what can I do to help the team best prepare this weekend? Because at the end of the day, rugby is a team sport, and you have to give your all to prepare the team that's going, whether you're on it or not. You have to kind of just put your feelings aside, and that's just how it was. And like I still ask those questions today. Like if I'm injured, I'm like, what is it that I need to do to help the team? Because if they get a win at the weekend, it's never just the 23 that's on the pitch. It's the 60 that are in the squad. It's the 80 that are staff and players included. Like it's everybody. So yeah, I think that curious kind of element just gives you that kind of couple of percents every time you take the field.
That's interesting because maybe people outside of the arena that is elite sport would think that when you reach kind of maybe the peak of the game or kind of a really high standard like where you are now, not that you become complacent, but that you feel like you've kind of figured out what you need to do to be at your best. But for you, you're saying curiosity is actually key to not only reaching where you are, but to drive on even more.
Yeah, I think so. Like I don't think anyone is ever really a finished product. Like rugby itself is a game that's changing so much. Like you see the South Africans and they have some sort of new tactic every single week, and like it's a game that people are still kind of figuring out and exploring. And between all the new laws and everything that come in on the regular these days, it's like seeing what you can do to kind of put an edge to your game and make your game a bit different to everyone else. And when you get to this kind of level, it's never going to be like, oh, you get 20% better, like you get a huge chunk better. It's always just like tiny percents. But like if you add up a couple of percents every time that you try something, like they're gonna stack, and that's when you get like a 5% better or 10% better, just because you've stacked a load of habits that, or a load of skills that you've tried out. So like I don't know, during the Six Nations maybe last year, like I was exploring kind of different ways of entering breakdowns, and or whether it be like different ways of tackling, or this year it was even just like I'd say one of my strengths in my game is probably my carrying and my physical edge to the game. Um, but even this year, I was like, right, how do I make that 1% better? And I worked alongside our defense coach, and we looked at different things. And it's like just chasing 1%, because like if you're curious enough and brave enough to ask questions, then you're going to keep getting better, because you have to be vulnerable and brave to be able to say, right, like there is percents left in this, and like I want to chase them because I want to be the best in the world. So yeah, I do think curiosity and bravery is probably massive elements in that.
Yeah, you give me a nice quote there. To be curious and to be brave enough, you'll always get better. I like that one. You mentioned Brian O'Driscoll. I heard him speak last year at a charity event in Dublin. Like when you just talk about leadership, like he just embodies that. I like just like no one else I've seen. You've been captains, you've been part of so many elite teams. What does that actually mean to you?
Yeah, it's a funny one to me, because I think like when you get to this kind of level, and to be fair, it's probably same with grassroots level too, and in terms of like you're never actually alone in leadership. Like it's 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 never leading a group, it's just being with the group, and that kind of thing, because like there's that phrase of like leading from the front and whatnot, but actually like I'd rather probably be in amongst the team, and as a team get go forward, like but yeah, like I suppose for me it's just being myself. It's yeah, not really changing to suit a role. It's just literally being yourself, because if you're put in those positions, it's because you have the right qualities to be able to do that, and the team trust you and the staff trust you. And yeah, so like I think people have different ways of leading as well, whether it's somebody that talks a lot and that's just them, whether it's somebody that leads through actions, or that kind of thing. And I'm probably more of an action leader than I am a speaking leader, because I'd rather kind of do my talking on the field. But yeah, look at like I think everybody leads in their own right as well. So yeah, I think leadership is a word that you could apply to a lot of people, even if they don't seem like your natural leaders. But yeah, everyone influences everyone depending on what actions they use. So yeah, it's just how you influence people, I guess, and try to get the best qualities out of your team.
Mm. Are you comfortable with being one of the recognized leaders and stars of the team now, or did you find that hard to be kind of in that spotlight, or how do you manage that?
Um, it's probably one that you don't really think about until somebody says it to you.
Yeah.
Um, like even for example, like all of us kind of just see ourselves as normal people. Like we're normal people who throw a egg-shaped ball around the pitch and just do what we love for a living. Which is like incredibly special, and we're very privileged to be able to do that, to call rugby kind of our job. But it's I suppose it's the moments when you go out to, I don't know, a shop, and like you go out to get your groceries, and people would stop you and kind of come up to you and ask for like whether it's a photograph or an autograph. And it's those moments that you're like, God, yeah, like it kind of just hits you. Or even like when we played England in Cork 2 years ago, it was the first time that kids wearing red scrum caps had come up to me and asked me to sign red scrum caps, and I was like, damn, like that's pretty cool. And yeah, like it's those sort of moments that you sit back and you're like, oh, like that's like it's really special. Like it's hard to describe, to be honest with you. And I always say it's like one of those things that if you could bottle it up, you genuinely be a millionaire, because not everyone gets to experience that. And it's only kind of a special few that do. So yeah, like I think, am I comfortable with it? I think I'm getting better with it. I think like as long as I can keep giving my time to those who recognize me, or who support the game, or like who follow it, or that kind of thing, it's like that's really important to me. Yeah, like whether it's, I don't know, I wasn't playing the Harlequins Leicester game at the end of the season, and one of the referees actually came in and she was like, here, we've just been sat up in the stand for a little while, and those two girls in front of us, and they tried to catch you at the last couple of games, and they'd reached out to me on Instagram, and I'd messaged back, and because they'd come to our England game in Twickenham, but they're too high up in the stand to be able to come down. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll go speak to them now. And like I spent the guts of maybe 10 minutes with them, just absolutely like chatting about probably swimming and like octopuses and like loads of little random things. But to those kids, like that's really important. And to me it's really important. So like I know as a kid like how important that is, because like 5, 6 year old Aoife, who dreamed of playing for Ireland, like still, like I still remember those days where Nora Stapleton or Fiona Coughlin or Lynn Cantwell, like legends of our game, came down to the rugby club or came down to the school or a game. And like I still remember those moments where you interact with people. And I suppose for me it's being more of a, I suppose like a person rather than just a face on a screen. Because yeah, I think that's important for the next generation to, as you said, you can't, it was, it can't see, can't be. So
Yeah.
yeah, like becoming more comfortable with it, to answer your question.
Yeah, I think it's a real Irish thing as well. Kind of, as you said, the kind of
Yeah.
stereotypical. You don't want to kind of be, oh, I'm in the spotlight kind of thing. But I love that story with the girls, but particularly the red scrum cap. I was going to ask you, do you kind of get a flashback to? I was there once, on the flip side of that, and as you say, the importance of having the personality, not just being on screen. And like, well, I was listening to Roy McIlroy went up to Roy Keane once for an autograph, and Roy Keane told him to go away. That was me being polite. It's just different, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Like, and like, it is just really important to give people your time. Because at the end of the day, like I said, like we just throw a rugby ball around for a living, and we're incredibly lucky and privileged to do that for Ireland or for Queens or for Leinster, whoever it is that you are playing for. Um, but the reality is that you inspire so many people when you do that. And like I suppose it is that recognition of like there is a bigger picture, and like we speak about it all the time in terms of our higher purpose, and that's to inspire the next generation. And like to do that to me is like you do that by all the off-field stuff. Like yes, like people obviously look at the rugby, and like it's brilliant when we're playing really good rugby, but if you go to a game and we get bet, I don't know, 100-0, like there's still going to be kids on the sideline screaming your name and wanting an autograph, wanting a picture, and they don't care that you've played really bad rugby. They just care that you're wearing an Irish shirt, and that's what they want to do in the future. So I think by giving them time, it just, yeah, it just gives them that kind of sense of, yeah, like I can do this. Like I've just spoken to whoever, and they're just a down to earth person, and they really care about what I'm doing. They know that I exist kind of job. And like it's the same when you give your time to coaching underage teams. Like it's that thing of like, yeah, that they're not just a face on the telly, like they're a real person, and like it's achievable. So yeah, like it's just about giving to the next generation, I guess.
Yeah. What's the biggest difference between Aoife that debuted for Ireland and the Aoife that's sitting in front of me now?
I'm probably a lot more resilient. Um, yeah, Aoife that debuted for Ireland. God, I was just 19. I'd actually celebrated my birthday with Tricky Adele McMahon about a week or two before I debuted. Yeah, she like we share a birthday, and leading up to the Wales game, I wasn't playing because I had a little niggle, and it was actually the night that we had jersey presentation for the Wales game, and Brian O'Driscoll was actually in with his daughter Sadie to present us our jerseys. So yeah, we had like a full tray of cake. It was so good. And obviously in camp you're with all your best friends, and like it's class. But yeah, obviously got capped then, and a couple of days later ruptured my hamstring, and I didn't play for Ireland for another 2 years. Um, so I suppose the kind of journey of dealing with that, it was my first kind of, it was probably my second long term injury, but my first big injury in an Irish setup, because like I've been contracted since I was about 17 or 18, and like that was my first big blow to be like yeah, no, it's like you're, even though you're on cloud nine right now with your first cap, it's like, yeah, no, straight back down. It's like it was brutal. Because I suppose for me, like the goal was get my first cap, that Six Nations, got it. It was a fallow week then, so a week off, and went back training with the sevens because I was contracted with sevens at the time. And yeah, ruptured my hamstring. But for me, I was like, right, I want to start versus England, which was the week after fallow week. Then did my hamstring and got the news then that I was going to be out for a little while. Kept kind of getting it, it wasn't really progressing like it should have. And yeah, then between that and a few other things, I didn't play for Ireland for another 2 years, and that was really difficult to deal with. And I suppose like I fell out of love with the sport, didn't want to play it anymore. Like hit really hard mentally. And yeah, like I suppose that journey then of getting back into an Irish shirt, the kind of graph that you have to do to actually get back, how you get over that kind of hurdle mentally, like I said, and how you deal with it. And then obviously to try hold on to your jersey is another story. But I guess like that 2 year window, yeah, made me a lot more resilient. So I guess now I just know how to deal with injuries that little bit better. And yeah, know how to lean on people around me, I guess, and not just try to do it all myself.
What got you out of that mindset of you didn't want to play rugby anymore?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like I went through that for a long time, where didn't want to play rugby, lost my kind of identity, because I guess like from a young age, like I've always played sports. Like that's just who I was. I was sporty Aoife, and like I was rugby Aoife, and I was just a girl who played rugby, girl who played sports. And then I suppose when you get a big injury, like you can't do that anymore. So that kind of sense of identity of God, like if I don't have sport, like who am I? And like you kind of battle through that for a long time, and you sort of have to nearly rediscover yourself, because like I said, I was 19, like at this stage. I just got my first cap for Ireland. And then you're back to ground zero, and you're kind of left dealing with it all, I guess. And um yeah, like for me, it took a long time to come out of that hole. Probably coped with it in ways that aren't very healthy. But like I guess for me, it was getting back when I kind of recovered a bit more hamstring wise. I was just like, right, I'm gonna play grassroots rugby, and I'm gonna try find the love for it again. I suppose that whole injury period, I started taking photos as well. So I guess like I was involved with the team without being on the pitch necessarily, but like I'm still at the games. I'm still doing like taking photos, like being involved, trying to stay involved, because like you're just desperate to get back out on the pitch. And then yeah, I got back out on the pitch, played a couple games with Blackrock, and I think it was probably the best thing for me at the time. I was one of the coaches were like in Ireland were trying to transition me into a centre, which was really hard at the time as well, coming back from an injury, trying to transition positions, and not being in the best headspace. So the coach at Blackrock was literally like, where do you want to play? And I was like, I don't really care where I play. Like I don't care. I don't really want to play. I'm just here because like I want to try. And he was like, right, look, we'll put you in the back row. If you like it, you like it. If you want to play centre, we'll see where it goes. But played a few games, and just kind of fell back in love with it, because it was like, right, this is just like I'm having a bit of crack. I'm with really good friends, and it was that thing of like, yeah, this is why you do it. Like it's literally for the crack. So yeah, I kind of just fell back in love with it then from there. And I guess then you kind of just, that kind of excitement, I guess, that you had as a kid just kind of reignites, and I just loved it again. And like since I haven't really I haven't really had any issues since, but like in terms of loving the sport. But yeah, like it was it was definitely a long and dark spell that was quite hard to get out of. But I was just lucky that my support system around me were able to support me.
Yeah, I was trying not to, as you were, you like being very vulnerable there and sharing your insight. Just as you were talking about the injury, the finger and the kind of the injuries come up, and I was just laughing. But I think there's three things that stuck out or kind of stuck out to me there. Was there three kind of insights for I've got a few younger listeners, some that are on the brink of maybe going elite in whatever arena that they're performing in, but to me in that story it just shows that sport is fragile. It can be taken from you at any point. Don't wrap up your identity in what you do. Separate the two. Or as a sports psychologist or clinical sports psychologist, the episode of today we spoke about not separating the two, but enhancing both into one. And sometimes a step back or a step down will propel you two or three steps ahead of where you were already.
Yeah, that's it. Like I think like biggest lesson I took from that stage is like I can't just be a rugby player. Like like you said, like I unwrapped my whole identity around being a rugby player. Like I was chatting to you pre-pod, and it was very much that like everything you do is to be better in the sport. It's to get to where you want to be and to achieve those dreams that you had as a kid. But I guess you get so enwrapped in it that you would put like rugby above anything. Like you'd miss like easily you'd say no to birthdays, you'd say no to friend celebrations, you'd say no to farewell parties, you'd say no to weddings, you'd say no to anything, and that's just how it is. Because to you, like to me, the be all and end all is rugby. And no matter what's going on, rugby will always be first. And I suppose it's one of those relationships where like I said to you earlier that one of my housemates has retired from rugby, and she kind of said, and she was like, yeah, like it's time to go home and actually have time with my family because they've been so patient with me. And it's one of those moments where you realize it's like, yeah, actually, like it's like I haven't been home properly since it was Christmas, like, and I'm going home for a few days now in a little bit, but like I'll still be gymming and running, and like the gymming and running will take priority over, I suppose, spending time with my family. But that's just how it is. And I suppose like when you're an elite sports person, like you do become a bit selfish and put your own needs above everyone else's. But it's to achieve your dream, I guess. But like you said, you can't wrap everything in that. So like for me, it was finding different hobbies. Like I play a load of music. I take photos, like I said. I now take time away from rugby in terms of like I still do my training and all that, and I hate taking time off. I rarely take time off, but it's that thing of like during the day, it's okay to go to a party and just like be in the company of friends or be in your company of family, because like you need just that slight mental switch off where you aren't constantly thinking about rugby. Now, I do find that very hard, but and it is always in the back of my mind. But I suppose from the injury, I have learned that like rugby just it is my everything, but it also probably shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And then yeah, like I think like one of the best and worst things that ever happened to me was that injury. Like you said, like it's a step down to propel yourself forward, and yeah, it was definitely a few steps down. It was a few hits down, but yeah, like I think it genuinely has made me a better player and a better person for it, and kind of puts things into perspective a bit more than like when you put on a green shirt now, like not that anyone ever takes it for granted, but like it just feels that bit more special because of how hard you had to work to get back into a jersey and everything that you did have to sacrifice in that time, or like all the kind of struggle that you have to go through. Like it just yeah, it just makes it that bit more special when you get days like that in the Aviva where it's just a childhood dream.
Mm. What kind of music you playing? You've intrigued me now. Give us a few tunes.
Definitely not going to give you a few tunes, but yeah, no, like since I was a kid, Mum actually got us all involved in music. There was a stage where all four of my siblings were playing music. Mum was playing music. I think the only one in the house that wasn't was Dad, so we slagged him that he'd have to sing and dance. But um, yeah, no, I played the tin whistle, classical flute, traditional flute, and uilleann pipes. So
Okay.
busy, busy, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't expect you to say flute. I don't know. I felt maybe guitar, maybe saxophone or something. I don't know. Flute was
No,
just not going to come to mind.
no, definitely not.
Yeah. Um, what's what do elite performers understand that us general folks don't, or maybe never will?
Um, Gosh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know, to be honest. Probably what it takes to, I suppose, be an elite athlete. Um, like it's funny. It's like those things where people joke about how they'd love to put like a non-elite person into the Olympics and just to see the difference. Do you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Um, like if you were to put just any regular person into the 100-meter sprint beside Usain Bolt, it's like where would they actually finish? You know? Um, yeah, so like I think from that perspective, it's like how much work do you actually need to put in to get to this level? And then how much do you need to put in to keep at this level, but not just stay at, I suppose, like that level. It's how do you keep going up? Because if you stand still in any elite sport, you're going to be left behind. And yeah, like I think for me, even going back with the Guinness thing, it's that thing of like how do I keep getting better? It's like if I stay where I am and you sit back and you breathe out and you relax, it's like, nah, you're done. Um, it's that thing of like how do you just keep getting better, and it comes into that curiosity phase, but it also just is that want and that drive and that hunger to just keep on getting better because yeah, like you're just desperate to wear that Irish jersey. And I know any of the girls that wear it are, and we're desperate to bring Ireland back to a successful Ireland. But yeah, it's what goes into actually getting to that stage in the first place, but staying at that phase then too, because the training is tough. Pre-season is rotten. There's plenty of days where you come home and all you can do is just lie on the couch because you can't move, because you're just so tired. But then the reality of female sports in most cases is that you have a job or you go to university or you do something on the side, because if not, like you wouldn't be able to live in terms of like paying for stuff. So yeah, I think even just the reality of women's sport is probably something that people don't fully appreciate. Like there was a video that went out from a Premiership player the other day, and her car had broken down and she couldn't afford to fix it, even though she
Wow.
had spent a couple grand's worth of money trying to fix the car all year, and it still isn't fixed, it's still breaking down. And the reality of it is that she can't afford to fix it because she's an elite sports person, but there isn't enough money in women's sport at the minute to be able to for her to do stuff like that. Like even the PWR is the best league in the world in my opinion. It has the best players. It multicultural, loads of different nations, and still there's players there that don't get paid to play in it. They're on voluntary contracts. They don't get any money. A few of us get money, but it's very very little money. And then you've a few, like let's say the Kiwis who are over. Some of them don't have a Kiwi contract. The Irish girls don't have an Irish contract, so we rely only on the money that we get from the club, which isn't a lot because it sits in a salary cap. So yeah, I think even just that realization is probably something most people don't realize in the women's sport realm, I think.
Mm. What's the biggest sacrifice you've made that maybe we don't speak about then?
Um, Gosh, like you make a lot, to be fair, when you become an elite sports person. Like I said, you do kind of put your own needs ahead of like your families or that kind of thing. In certain respects, um, like I think sacrifice is a tough word because it makes it sound really negative. Because there's a lot of things that you miss, but it isn't necessarily for a negative thing. It's to play for your country. So like you miss a lot of things, whether it's birthdays or that kind of thing. But and your friends have to be like friends outside of rugby have to be quite patient with you in terms of they invite you to everything, but they know that the answer will probably be no, I've got a match or I've got training or I've got to do this, have to do that. But I think for me the hardest thing to miss was probably my nan's funeral. It was 2023, and we were in Dubai for WXV, um, and I had just come back from that kind of 2 year period where I was out between my first and my second cap, and um, I was named to play against Spain, and she'd passed away. So I was stuck in Dubai. My mum and my sister had come out to watch me. My sister got to fly home So she got to make the funeral. My mom stayed to watch the game and then flew home straight away after to make the funeral. Um, and I chose to stay because there was the match. Then I'd obviously have to shower, get dressed, all that crack. I wouldn't have made it to the airport on time. So I watched her funeral from, I don't know, however many thousand of feet high you are in the sky when you're on the plane. But yeah, I watched it on an airplane flying home to Ireland. And yeah, like she was probably my biggest supporter growing up. So like we were quite close, and it was really, really hard. Like, to be fair to the RFU, to be fair to Scott Beamond and Elaine Ryan, who are head coach and manager, like they when I told them, like I broke down, and they're like, look, whatever you need, we'll do it. They're like, if you want to go home, like this is day before the game or so, and they're like, if you want to go home, we'll book a flight right now, and you can go home if you want to. I don't know, miss training, miss the captain's run. That's completely fine. We'll allow it. Like whatever you need right now in this space, we'll cater for it. And I decided to do captain's run. It's probably one of the worst captain's run I've ever done. I because obviously I was quite distracted.
Mm.
None of the girls knew what was going on. Only my roommate, because I didn't want any of them to know before the game. Um, and yeah, like that was probably one of the hardest moments to miss. After the game, I took off my scrum cap, gave it to my mum. We just won WXV3, which was first silverware that Ireland had won for the women's side in a long time. Um, but I took off my scrum cap, gave it to my mum, and it's buried with my nan. So like it's moments like that are really hard. Because they're moments that you can't ever get back. But for me, like I know that she was so proud of me to get back into an Irish shirt. I know that she was on her deathbed, and she was swiping away at all the nurses, being like, "Did she get on the team?" Like talking to my dad, it's like, "Is she back on the squad?" And like she passed away knowing that I got back into an Ireland jersey, which is probably something that I'm most proudest of. But yeah, like it is moments like that really do hurt, and they hurt in the moment, and they still hurt to this day. But it's just what you do, I think, for, I suppose, pulling on the green jersey and doing your childhood dream. Because if I would have come home, I know for a fact that she probably would have stood up and whacked me or something like that, because she would be like, no, like just do this, because yeah, like I know that she would have wanted me to do that. But it was still very hard to play that game, knowing that
Yeah.
I was coming back, and I'm watching her funeral on the airplane, and coming back and she wasn't there.
God, wow, like talk about, like that's a very powerful story. Like I didn't know that at all. I didn't expect something of that measure to come out. So thank you for your honesty. I don't actually know how to follow up beyond that. But like, I'm sorry, the scrum cap piece is just so lovely. The rest of the questions seem absolutely irrelevant after that. But I do want to know, when you win an award, with the back-to-back awards, does it bring more ambition? Does it bring more contentment? Does it bring more confidence? What, or maybe there's something else. What is it?
Um, Probably a bit of everything. I think like it brings a bit of like, I think I'm already a really hungry player in terms of like I just want to keep achieving more and more and more. Um, like yeah, but I think like probably something that I'm getting better at, that I've probably had to force myself to actually do, is to sit down and realize what they like the actual magnitude of what I'm doing is. Um, because like you take the Six Nations thing, like no one in the world has done it twice. No one in the world has done it back to back. And here I am sitting at 23, and I'm like, God, yeah, like I just want to do it again.
So the three-peat is on. That's what I'm hearing.
Could you imagine? Jesus, that, yeah, gosh, that'd be something else, all right. But look, like it comes back to that thing of like, how do you get better? Like, and you just keep chasing 1%, because like, yes, the awards are very nice, and they are class, but like if you don't keep performing, then they mean nothing. Because like my mom said to me the other day, she's like, you're only as good as your last game. And it is that thing of like, you just have to keep getting better, and like just keep being hungry, keep being curious, because you never know when your last game is going to be. And like for me, it's just, how do I keep being the best version of me for my team, and for my family, and for everyone that I represent. So yes, the awards are very nice. They do bring kind of a lot of different emotions out and that kind of thing, especially when it's something so big as what I've done. But yeah, the reality is that you just have to keep going, and you obviously acknowledge it, and you sit for a minute and you're like, what is going on? But yeah, I represent something much bigger than an award, and that's playing for Ireland. That's playing with my best friends, and without them, I wouldn't be able to do anything that I'm doing. So yeah, it is that thing of I think my individual accolades are very much the team accolades, because it's a team sport, and I wouldn't be able to do what I do without them.
Mm. What are you seeing on the pitch that maybe you weren't seeing 2 or 3 years ago? What's changed?
In terms of my own game, or in terms
Yeah,
of the game itself?
even yeah, your own game, but also your read of the game. Like, has that shifted? Have you seen that kind of evolve over the last couple of years? I'm just wondering what's allowing you in games to be at your best? Is it just different tuning in? Obviously, experience point of view, being fit and not injured is another thing, obviously, but what's changed that it's allowing you to be at your best?
Um, I think how I actually prepare for a game rather than what happens in a game is probably allowing me to be my best. Like during the week, I'd do a lot of actual visualization, whether that's just sitting and visualizing different parts of the game, or whether it's actually getting up and moving. And I don't necessarily need a ball. Like, you can pretend is the wrong word, but you can visualize different moments in a game that kind of you might expect to happen, or um that kind of thing as well. And it's probably something that our cultural lead Sean Ryan brought in a few years back when he first joined us. And um he used to work in the army, I think it was. And he used to work with snipers, and obviously they don't hand you a gun every day to practice. So it's like, how do you practice loading a gun without actually having a gun? And they do a lot of visualization. And I was like, all right, so if they can do that, then surely I can apply that to my own game. And I know for a fact that high end elite sports people in individual games do it, whether it's Michael Phelps, for example. His coach broke his goggles by accident one time going into a race. I think he had stood on him or something, just complete accident. But Michael Phelps still won the race, even though he only realized maybe half a length into his race that his goggles were filling up with water, and he couldn't see anything. But he had visualized the race so many times that he knew exactly how many strokes he was to do before he hit the wall. He knew exactly what he was to do when he got to the wall. And it's just that powerful thing of how do you visualize moments before they even happen, so that you know what to do when you're in the scenario. So I think I've found that tool really powerful. And I think there's some sort of research as well to do with um if you visualize and you could do it correct, and you can do it, I suppose, to the best of how it can perform. It's that thing of your muscles and that actually kind of get the same, I suppose, feedback as what they do when you actually do it. I hope I'm saying that right. But yeah, I've found that really powerful. And then I'm just an absolute nerd of the game. So between looking up different things, between trying different kind of techniques, between chasing different aspects of the game, I'm never satisfied with, with a game that I play. My mom always says I'm my own worst critic, and she's probably right. But I think that's drove me to be the player that I am today. And it is that thing of just chasing those one percenters, whether it's visualization and you're just kind of imagining going through processes and going through different moments in a game, or what you do in different scenarios, how you get the ball back, how you hit someone, what you're going to do if you're going to carry, or whether it's literally taking through minute skills and doing them by yourself. While I don't know, I don't mind going in early in the morning and doing a bunch of work by myself, and then go up and do an assist or whatever it is, because I want to be the best in the world, and to me that's what it takes.
Mm. Daniel Wiffen actually, I'd interviewed him, what was it, maybe last year? He said the same. He said he dreamt the Olympic final. He
Mm.
knew exactly what he needed to do, and he every time he's doing the lens in the pool when he's training or practicing himself, it's all just him dreaming about the race. But so when he goes in to the final or to whatever race he's going into, whether it's Olympic final or not, he's been there and he's done it, and as you said with the research, it's proven. Um, when you mentioned about your housemate, just the fact that your housemate retired and then moved home, I just think that's a really interesting dynamic. You're in the peak of your powers, still young. Is there any insights or nuggets she's given you, being at the end of her career that you've taken on board?
I wouldn't say I'm in the peak just yet, but yeah, no, like my housemate, well, one of them anyway. I live with Alex Calendar and Laura Delgado or Bimba at the minute. And Bimba is obviously retired; she's gone home, but she's literally the definition of a Spanish legend. She's a rugby legend, to be fair, and yeah, she's had a phenomenal career, whether that's with Spain or with whatever club that she was playing with. She's played with many clubs now, but yeah, like I think watching her this year has been really interesting, just kind of how she approaches things and that sort of thing, especially because it was her last year, and I think she did it probably different to what she normally does as well, in terms of like she just tried to enjoy it that bit more, because she knew it was her last. Yeah, like she probably didn't get the send off she wanted with Spain, but yeah, like I think she's just enjoyed this season with Quins, in terms of just being with the girls, like just having time with friends and family and that kind of thing, and just celebrating moments. She's a woman who's absolutely full of energy. In terms of like she just celebrates everything and she just radiates energy. So yeah, it's probably just that perspective that I've kind of taken from her. And yeah, like she's gone off now. She flew to America the other day to go and coach a team out there, and then she'll be leading it up with Spain as well. And she has different programs to kind of, I suppose, show girls in Spain and that kind of thing, that there is a pathway to play for Spain, and that Spain are really good at rugby. So yeah, it's like she's basically helped put Spain on the map for rugby in women's rugby, anyways. And yeah, she is literally the living legend of Spain, I guess.
Yeah. 20 years' time, you'll be 43. It sounds like you'd be in the peak of your intercounty Gaelic football career by then, but what what would you like to achieve when I give you a call and you let me know what you're doing?
God, yeah. Well, there was a South African player in the World Cup, and she was about 40. So maybe I'll make it to that age. You never know. I could make a few World Cups by that age at that stage. But yeah. Look at like I think from Ireland point of view, like I want to win the World Cup with Ireland. I want to win Grand Slams with them. Want to win Six Nations. We speak about it a lot in terms of bringing Ireland back to a successful Ireland, and I think come the World Cup 29, like it's all up for grabs, isn't it? And like we're a very young team as it is. Like majority of us 23, and yeah, like why not? By that World Cup will be what, like 20, 26, 27, like, and yeah, like we'll have a lot more experience under our belts. Obviously, the World Cup gone, just like it hurt. The way that we kind of bowed out, like it hurt, and I suppose that fueled a lot of us for bigger things. Because yeah, that French game was a very tough one to take. And I'm probably not. I'm probably definitely not over it. But yeah, look at like I think there's huge things to come from this Irish team, and from me personally, like I just want to keep backing up what I'm doing, and not just backing it up, but as I said earlier, it's about taking it to the next level. And like I'm working at things in the background, but yeah, I suppose it's getting those things out onto the pitch and showing people what you've kind of been working on, what you've been exploring. And I think there's still a lot more from like to come from me. So I'm just excited to try show the world that I want to be the best player in the world, and hopefully one day I can achieve that.
So we've seen nothing yet is what I'm getting from that answer.
I haven't seen a lot yet, I'd say.
Brilliant. I'm going to do the sideline seven. It's the same seven questions at the end of every episode. Aoife, you've given me a few quotes, so I'm interested to hear what your favorite quote is.
Gosh, my favorite quote. Um, God, I actually don't know. Probably the one from Mia Hamm. I think she's an American soccer player.
Yeah.
Um, uh, she said, gosh, I'm actually going to get it up because I really, really like it.
Is this the one about
It's,
running like a girl?
no, she
No.
said, somewhere behind the athlete you've become and the hours of practice and the coaches who've pushed you is a little girl who fell in love with the game and never looked back. Play for her.
Deadly. I think that
Yeah,
kind of encompasses what we've spoken about.
yeah.
Question two. Best sporting event you've been to? Give me one as a fan and one as a player.
Uh, Probably the World Cup on both accounts. Even though it didn't go our way, I obviously had a really weird World Cup with my knee injury and not really being involved with the team until the very end. The actual World Cup itself was incredible. The way it was organised, the absolute the support from the Irish was insane. I'll never forget that game versus New Zealand. I didn't even play it, and I went out to get coffees for the girls because they were all playing, and I was like, here, look, I'll do the coffee run. So went out, and I'd say I probably took about half an hour to go get coffees, which was literally across the road because the place was just lined with green. It was just covered in Irish people, and every 2 seconds you were stopping to chat with someone. And yeah, the coffees were probably cold by the time I got back, but I mean, it was just incredible. And then as a fan, I got to, well, I wouldn't say as a fan because it was England versus Canada in the final, and we weren't there, but I suppose as a spectator, it was like going to that final in the World Cup with a sold out Twickenham it was insane. The place was absolutely rocking, and I could only imagine the noise on the pitch because I've played in Twickenham or Allianz Stadium with 60,000 people, and that's something that not everyone gets to experience, is literally just stand in the middle of the pitch with 70,000 people shouting at you. It's loud. It's the atmosphere is incredible from the middle of the pitch, but up in the stands with 83,000 people was insane. So yeah, I think as a player and also as a spectator, that World Cup was just incredible.
Brilliant. Question 3, the biggest setback or challenge so far in your career, and how did you react to it?
Probably that hamstring injury. I didn't probably react to it very well. Went down a very dark, deep hole, but eventually, I suppose, dragged myself back out, and sure, look at me now. I'm doing all right.
Exactly, 100%. Flip side, biggest achievement in or outside of sport?
In sport, probably accolade wise, probably that back-to-back Guinness Player of the Championship. No one else haven't done it in the world. Yeah, it's not very often that you beat English people to those sort of accolades as well. So probably that, just where the Red Roses are in I suppose their absolutely phenomenal trajectory with women's rugby. And yeah, I think other than that, it's getting back into a green shirt after that hamstring injury. And then outside of sport, gosh, yeah, probably just taking away with my degree. Yeah, it's not giving up on that yet.
Fair enough. Advice to your 18-year-old self? You're only 23, but I'm sure there's a nugget there you could give her.
Just keep going. Yeah, even when the days get tough, it's just remember why you do it and why you love it. Yeah, don't give up just yet.
Brilliant. Dream dinner guest, and why?
That's a great question. I feel like I change my answer nearly every week. Currently, probably Artie Savea, New Zealand captain, absolutely phenomenal back row with New Zealand. Yeah, probably just more so the rugby nerd in me wanting to pick his brain, I guess.
Fair enough. Final question before I let you go. If your life was a book, which someday it might be, what chapter would this be called?
God, I don't even know because I'm just at the beginning of my story, so probably something to do with that. I'm only 23, so yeah, probably something to do with just the beginning or something like that.
Yeah, I like the title. I'm only 23. I think.
Yeah,
I like
only
it.
23. Just a baby.
I also love the way you were like, yeah, the next World Cup will be 26, 27. I was like, that's still young.
I know, yeah, literally, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, Aoife, look, I really enjoyed this. Got a lot from it. I appreciate your insights, honesty, and best of luck with everything. Look forward to giving you a call in 20 years and see what you do.
No, thank you very much for having me.
And that is it for today's episode of the Sideline Live podcast. A huge thank you to our guest for sharing their story, insights, and experiences with you, the audience. If you did enjoy the episode, please do leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, as it does help the show grow. If you are interested in more content and information or hearing from upcoming guests, you can follow our social medias at The Sideline Live, which are linked in the description box of the episode. If you do have any guest suggestions or topics you would like to have covered, you can send us a message on social media or email thesidelinelive@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.